What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another TSOUP Jujutsu Kaisen Manga review. Today we will be talking about the Gojo's past arc, which is chapters 65 through 79, if you would like to read along. We're going to do a brief recap first, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. And then I also wanted to have a arc tier list and a updated character tier list, and talk about the things I do like and the things I do not like. But first of all, let's dive right in to the arc recap. Okay, so Gojo's past arc was a pretty good arc. We get to meet a lot of new characters and factions. There's a lot of kind of lore building in this arc. I think that's what I'm going to call it from now on. I'm going to distinguish between world building and lore building. And there's a lot of lore building. Not necessarily places that we get to go to, but things and people we get to meet. So the lore that we get to learn about some new factions. So we get to learn about a cursed user faction, which is kind of the rogue Jujutsu sorcerers. One of the factions is called Q, which seemed like a gag group because they Gojo, and we meet Geto, guy with the scar across his forehead. We learn that he was a Jujutsu sorcerer and friend of Gojo in the past, and we see the two of them take out this group called Q. They feel more like a gag group. They kind of look like World War II German soldiers or captains. They look kind of goofy. They beat them up, they fight them, and then they immediately disband. So I don't think we're going to see more of them. If we do, that would be a surprise. But it seems like, for the most part, they were just kind of a throwaway group, just kind of like a gag, because Gojo just mops the floor with their strongest soldier, and then they kind of make the joke out of it. But we find out that the reason Gojo and Geto are fighting this group is because they're after this girl known as the Star Plasma Vessel, which is what the majority of the arc is focused on. This girl, the Star Plasma Vessel. Now, there is a little bit of kind of upbringing past. We get to see a little bit more about Gojo and his early upbringing in the Jujutsu Academy. We get to see his early interactions with Mei. But we also get to meet some other characters like Utahime, the Star Plasma Vessel. Her name is Riko Amanai, and the arc is mainly focused on her, despite it being called Gojo Past Arc, or the arc being kind of surrounding Gojo. She's kind of the main kind of heroine of this arc, and we get to learn about kind of her story and how she kind of fits into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. And Gojo and Geto are tasked with protecting Riko, who's the Star Plasma Vessel, and we find out that being the Star Plasma Vessel is a very important role because they have a master Jujutsu sorcerer that's like living underground or something, and his name is like Master Tengen, and we find out that he's like extremely important to the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Or is he? I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to dive more into my thoughts, but he's very important. That's what we learn. He's very important, and he is basically immortal, and he kind of like Orochimaru. He kind of weasels his way, or like slips into new bodies every once in a while to like preserve his life, so in his spirit. So this girl, Riko, the Star Plasma Vessel, she is the new vessel for him to inhabit, and he's going to live in her body underground. It's kind of weird, but that's how he stays immortal. And apparently he has a very important function within the world of Jujutsu sorcerers. So he's a very important character, but we never get to meet him, unfortunately, in this arc just yet. I'm hoping we'll get to meet him at some point. One of the other characters we learn about is somebody named Fushiguro. Now that name sounds familiar to me. I'm putting things together. That sounds really familiar to me, but we meet this guy named Fushiguro, who's hired by the other organization we learn of called the Time Vessel Association, or Star Religious Group. And from what I understand, they are a religious group that really like Master Tengen, but don't want him to continue to have new vessels. It's kind of weird, but they're a group of non-Jujutsu sorcerers. So the group called Q is curse users. So they are Jujutsu users, but the Star Religious group is non-Jujutsu users. So they're just normal people. but they have a lot of money, and money buys you whatever you want. And they buy this guy named Fushiguro, which sounds really familiar to me. But we learned that this guy is called, actually, this guy's actual name is Toji Zanin. So he's part of the Zanin family, which is another name I remember. I'm remembering these names. I'm putting the pieces together. We also get to see a younger version of Nanami, and I think we meet this character. I don't remember if we've met him before, but Yu Haibara, that's another character that was in this arc. But both of them are pretty minor characters. The major characters in this arc is very much Riko Amanai, Gojo Satoru, and Geto. So after Gojo and Geto deal with the Q group that were after Riko Amanai, they continue to protect her, and she really wants to go to school and live out some of her life before she comes to basically death, because she's going to be taken over and she'll have to either live underground the rest of her life, and or she will just die spiritually, plus, or maybe all three. All three of these things will probably happen. So she wants to kind of have some fun, go, hang out with her friends, do all these things before she basically dies and kind of accepted death. And during this period, while at the school, Fushiguro and Gojo get ambushed by 2 additional curse users that were hired by Fushiguro, Toji Zanin, to as like a bounty. So he puts a bounty on Riko's head using the money that he got from the Star Religious group, because he knows that these bounty hunters, are not going to beat Gojo. They're just going to wear him down. So they're going to die trying is basically what's going to happen, or they're going to flee and not claim the bounty. So he's like very confident that nobody's going to be able to claim his bounty, but people are going to attempt to attack Gojo and kind of just wreak havoc. So it's a pretty smart idea, honestly. And then after all this happens, Gojo and Geto beat these curse users. They get out of the school. A really weird thing happens that I'm gonna have to expand on, but basically, Riko's maid / relative gets kidnapped, and then in the next chapter, she's free, and they're in Okinawa or something. After the vacation, Riko goes to the aquarium, has all these nice experiences, gets to know Gojo and Geto better, kind of hangs out. They go to the place where Master Tengen's supposed to be on the day that it's supposed to happen, right? And they have to go through with this before time's up on this kind of period where Riko can kind of converge with Master Tengen and be used as his vessel, right? So they go there, go to the place. They're kind of just standing around waiting for something. And then all of a sudden, big reveal, Gojo gets stabbed in the back by Fushiguro. Toji Fushiguro stabs Gojo in the back with a regular sword. And the reason he was able to sneak up on Gojo, the guy with the 6 eyes, the guy with the infinity, all these like big abilities and stuff, these big senses and abilities. He's not a cursed user, and he kind of trumps it up as a benefit. I've never thought of that, but he says, "Oh, because I can't detect or see cursed energy, or I don't have any cursed energy, all my other senses are enhanced." So I'm like, wait, I can't do that either. Does that mean I have increased senses? Like, it's kind of weird, but yeah. So he's got a really cool fighting style. I really appreciated his fighting style. He uses this curse that's like almost like a caterpillar or like a snake kind of that's wrapped around his body, and this curse has like basically, I don't know, for those of you who've seen Spider-Verse, Hammer's space. It's basically like a Mary Poppins bag or like an infinite space where he can just store any item. So he's just got like infinite space that he can just store items in, and he can pull out swords, all kinds of different swords and cursed weapons. So he's got like a an entire like Skyrim inventory of weapons to choose from. So he's got all kinds of loot on him, and he's using this exactly how you would use it to fight Gojo. So Gojo relies so heavily on his like special cursed energy senses that he almost uses it like a crutch. So when he's put in a situation where he has to fight somebody that he can't like detect just naturally with the cursed energy, he's at a huge disadvantage, and he finds himself completely overwhelmed by Toji, and Toji just mops the floor with him, pretty much kills him, is what you're kind of led to believe. He like stabs him through the throat, and then like stabs him in the leg, and then like stabs him again in the face. So like you're like, oh, Gojo was 100% dead. And then Toji is now running after Geto and Riko, who fled inside deeper into the kind of underground space that Master Tegan's supposed to be. We get a brief moment between Geto and Riko, and he basically tells her, hey, we're going to protect you. Even if you don't want to go through with this, we will sacrifice rank within Jujutsu Academy just to protect you. Like, you don't have to go through with this if you don't want to. And then right as she's saying that she wants to live the rest of her life, she doesn't want to become a vessel, she gets shot in the face, killed by Toji. Toji dealt with Gojo, now he's here to deal with Riko and Geto. Geto ends up fighting Toji for a bit, and then all of a sudden, Gojo comes back. He's alive. He used some sort of like reverse cursed technique to like heal himself or like save his life. It's not entirely explained exactly how this happened, but for the most part, he gets reverse curse technique, which we kind of see him try to use earlier in the arc with this like red energy, and that fails. And it's a cursed technique he's been working on. So he knows how to use this blue technique. He was trying to use red, but now he can use red and blue, which allows him to use his hollow purple, which is the combination of both techniques into one super attack, which he uses on Toji and kills him. And ultimately, Gojo defeats Toji and unfortunately does not save Riko. Geto does survive, and because of this incident, Geto kind of falls away from the path of a Jujutsu sorcerer wanting to protect the non-Jujutsu sorcerers. He kind of sees the wickedness and the cruelty of the weak, and some ideas that kind of formulated at the beginning between, I believe, when Geto and Haibara were hanging out in, I believe, Geto's apartment or the Jujutsu Academy. It's kind of hard to say. Some other character, I forget her name, kind of comes up and kind of asks him some like moral questions on like, how would you get rid of curses? It's like, one way you could get rid of curses is to destroy all the cursed energy that humans are producing, which is really hard. That's a very uphill battle. Or you could make all humans Jujutsu sorcerers. And then Geto goes, wait, I don't have to make new Jujutsu sorcerers. I don't have to train anybody. I'll just kill everybody who's not a Jujutsu sorcerer. And so that's his big new plan. Like, I'm going to remake society by killing everybody who's not a Jujutsu sorcerer. So he kind of lashes out on this village that he finds cruel in the mountains. He kills everybody in this village. And that gets reported, and then Gojo finds out, and he's shocked, and he confronts Geto, and he doesn't want to fight him then, so he lets him go. And that's kind of where we end up today. So Gojo and Geto are now at odds. Kind of these once friends are now enemies, and Gojo is continuously being this mentor character today in the current story. And he is, creating new Jujutsu sorcerers and teaching, Itadori and Nobara and Fushiguro. Whereas Geto is raising up these evil special grade curses to kill off humanity that's not a Jujutsu sorcerer. And so it's kind of an interesting dynamic that we kind of got going on now. And that is basically the Gojo past arc summed up some of my thoughts on the Gojo past arc. Overall, I really like this arc. I think it's very solid. I don't know if I would say it's better than the Goodwill arc, but I would probably put it in maybe second place. I think it might be the second best arc in the story so far. It was very short, but very sweet. It had a lot of good characters, new lore, really great fights, had some really cool panels. There's a very iconic panel that we get to see. I believe the quote is, "Through heaven and earth, I am the honored one." Some of the things I liked all the new characters. I thought Riko was a nice character. She was interesting. I liked Geto. Getting to learn more about Geto was good. I liked seeing the young Nanami. Nanami is one of my favorite characters, and I liked seeing him, the young version of him. I thought that was cool. Get to see a little bit more of Mei Mei, but not enough to really bump her up significantly on my tier list. I really loved the action scenes. The action scenes we thought were very good. There's some cool new techniques that we got to see. One thing I did not like at all in this arc, it literally messed me up. Like, I almost felt like I got whiplash from this moment. And this is kind of an ongoing thing, but I've never seen it to this extent within the manga. And that is off-screen things. Just like things, there's just a lot of off-screening that where I feel like we could use probably either a transitionary chapter, like flashbacks are a good way to kind of have a time skip, because you can have the characters move around during the flashback and it not feel like, chapter to chapter or page to page, that things are just skipping. There's a lot of skipping in Jujutsu Kaisen, but this particular moment confused the heck out of me. And that's when Riko's maid, gets kidnapped. And literally the next chapter or even page, I want to say, she was back. She was back, and they were on the vacation area. No enemies in sight, no meetups, no bargaining. In fact, they even made a point of Riko's determination and seeing this kind of thing play out, that she was gonna go with them to the kidnap trade deal thing, and that just completely skips. I had to go back. Like, I thought I skipped an entire chapter. That's how much of a skip this was. In fact, I still don't even know if I missed a chapter. If I somehow missed an entire chapter, please let me know, because it's so confusing to me. But at the same time, this kind of stuff has happened before where I feel like I probably didn't skip a chapter. I feel like there was a point one that I missed, or like a half chapter that I missed, because we just never see it. We never see her get retrieved. In fact, I think they kind of smooth it over later with Toji talking to this like evil butler representative guy. I don't remember his name. I don't remember if they said his name, but it's kind of like his handler, I guess. He talks to his handler, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I just like let her go, or I didn't kill her or something." I'm like, that wasn't even a very satisfying explanation, and I still didn't fully understand like what they were going for there. So let me know if I'm completely wrong about all this, but from what I understand, the entire kidnap rescuing scene or picking up or discussion or something, the explanation for it is completely off screen, and I thought that was extremely not great. And that one doesn't knock it down farther than second place overall as an arc. I don't think it's like a huge mishap. I just thought it was kind of dumb. I would probably call that dumb. One thing I thought was a little weird was Gojo being stabbed, and then that kind of not really affecting him in the fight at all. Like, he got shanked through the back. Toji is supposed to be a trained killer, and he missed every single vital organ. And I mean, he snuck up on him, like, and he got stabbed. So like that had to have done some sort of damage, but as far as I understand, that doesn't really affect Gojo at all. It didn't even seem to like hinder his fighting capabilities, and it definitely didn't hinder him later when he got like chopped up later, and then he came back like nothing ever happened. I still need to figure out what exactly reverse curse technique is, but apparently it lets you do some pretty amazing things. One thing that was, I think, somewhat in the arc, but also not really. We get to see more Mechamaru, and I thought that was cool. I like that he's gonna be seemingly a key figure in the next arc, the Shibuya arc. But I think that was like 79 is a transitionary chapter, so it's like half the rest of Gojo past and half Shibuya. So I'm gonna leave that for Shibuya. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this arc. I thought it was a very good arc. Top characters in the arc for sure. Gojo. I thought Geto was more interesting. I would probably bump him up overall on my tier list, which you will probably see reflected, but I don't think it would be a major upset on the tier list. So we'll see. Overall, enjoying Geto's character. Toji, very cool character. I would probably put him pretty decently high on the list. I think he might be the best villain. He might be the best villain in the series at the moment. Maybe not the best antagonist. He is dead after all, from what I understand. Best antagonist probably be Todo, just because he's the best character, and he was an antagonist at one point. But best villain, like straight up villain, would probably be Toji at the moment. It's just a really cool fighting style. He really seems to know what he's doing when it comes to like that kind of underworld work. So very cool character. And I thought Riko was very fun. She was an interesting character. Sad to see her go so soon, but a good character arc. One more thing I might add is I was a little disappointed that the Q faction wasn't anything other than what seems like a gag. I kind of wanted to see more of that. I like the idea of having more factions, like official titles for factions. And I'm assuming that the Star Religious group might come up again. If it doesn't, if neither of these groups ever come back into the story in any significant-ish way, or there's any repercussions for this particular event in the current story, I'm gonna be a little disappointed, I think. But hopefully, I'm hopeful that they will come back, because I do like these kind of things. You know, I do like faction names and big events like this. This seems to be a pretty substantial event in the Jujutsu society, so hopefully it has some apparent repercussions in the current story. So hopefully I'll have positive things to say about it later on, but at the moment, kind of worried. But that's going to do it for this thoughts and recap part. That's going to do it for me today, gamers. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts and opinions on the video down below in the comments section. And if you like the video, leave a like and consider subscribing today. But until next time, I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye!